Tonight from the Arc on the campus of Baruch College in Manhattan, Lexington Avenue. On Facebook Live is the CUNY Women's Volleyball Championship match as the top two seeds collide. Perennial power and top-seeded Hunter, 18-10, perfect in league play. They battle the defending champion Brooklyn College Bulldogs, the 2 seed, in at 17-12. And with that, good evening and welcome. Alongside Patrick Dietz, I'm Ralph Bednarczyk. Pat, here we go. It's Brooklyn, first championship in 39 years last year, the defending champions. And on the other side, Hunter, perennial power here in the conference. They're always in this championship, but Hunter is reloaded with a big team. We'll see if Brooklyn can rise up and give them a challenge tonight.
And the depth of Hunter is really going to show. I mean, Coach Woolward sometimes brings in a lot of girls before he finds that right chemistry, but they already swept this Brooklyn team. And let's figure out which Brooklyn team we're going to get in this championship match. Are we going to get the Brooklyn that can beat a team like, say, Pratt in 5, or get swept by this Hunter team all over again in the championship game?
And as we look at our highlight players, first for the Hunter Hawks, they've got the CUNY Player of the Year. She came back for a 5th year, senior middle blocker. Miriam Ouattara simply has been dominant at the net.
And she dominates in 2 ways, both offensively and defensively. She leads the conference in blocks, but she also leads the conference in hitting percentage, which means that as a middle hitter, Hunter's passing is so good that they get her the ball as often as possible, and she's hitting at a high efficiency rate, which for a middle is phenomenal.
Brooklyn, trying to add to their team off of last year's championship, went out of the transfer market and brought in a Division I transfer. Locally from St. Francis, Brooklyn, Tessa Winkleman, a 5'10 sophomore on the outside, coming off of a monster game last night in the semis with 27 kills.
And the Michigan transplant to New York, D1 transfer to a D3 school, is really showing her muscle. But let's see how she translates into this particular moment, because this is her first collegiate championship and her first real opportunity to set her mark and continue this brand new tradition of Brooklyn, who's now in their 3rd final, to see if they can repeat as a champion.
All right, 2nd straight year between these two teams, 3rd straight year in the CUNY championship match for Brooklyn. First serve, and the starting lineups are next from the Arc at Baruch College on Facebook Live.
2022-23 CUNY Athletic Conference Championships are presented by Health First, health insurance for New Yorkers, the official wellness sponsor of CUNY Athletics. The Hospital for Special Surgery, #1 in the U.S. for orthopedics, is proud to be the official hospital of the CUNY Athletic Conference. CUNY University Student Senate, providing our students the platform to shape the City University of New York. And Hometown Ticketing, the official ticketing provider of the CUNY Athletic Conference.
Welcome back to the Arc. Ralph Bednarczyk with Patrick Dietz. Let's introduce our 2 teams. Hunter, a deep team, 19 players on the roster. They started the season with 20. And for Coach Andrew Woolward in his 2nd year as the head coach, well, here are our coaches. Here's Mateusz Kontowicki of Brooklyn College, 2-time CUNY Coach of the Year. This is his 5th season, last year capturing the title and going to the NCAA tournament for the first time. Look at the Brooklyn starting lineup. Redshirt junior right side hitter Ashley Fung had a massive match in last year's final. The middle blockers, Ruti Joshi, 5'6", freshman from Elmhurst, New York, as she is joined by 6-foot freshman Ayatollah El Kotbi, a 6-foot freshman middle from Cairo, Egypt, who goes by Yuki. The center, they'll split 2. They'll start with Sydney Gdansky, who will set front row, a 5'8 sophomore from Saskatchewan, Canada, and Central Florida. And then the pin hitters, great strength for Brooklyn, 5'11 sophomore from San Martin, California, in the San Francisco area, Aliyah Rafat, last year's CUNY Rookie of the Year and a 2nd team All-Star this season. And the other outside hitter is Tessa Winkleman, 1st year at Brooklyn and was a 1st team CUNY All-Star, leads CUNY in kills percent at a shade over 3 kills per. The libero is Alanis Guinada of Bayside High School in Queens for the Brooklyn Bulldogs. Brooklyn went 6-1 in CUNY. They've won 4 straight, 17-12 on the season. They had some departures during the year, but Brooklyn has been able to stay the course and hoping they can rise up today to challenge top seed Hunter. And for Andrew Woodward's Hunter Hawks today, 18-10 on the year. They played a terrific schedule. They've won 4 of 5 coming in, but they scheduled everybody quality in the Northeast. The setter is a 5'4" freshman from San Diego, Bethany Tumeneng. CUNY Rookie of the Year, she leads the conference in assists. The middle blocker, Miriam Watara. There's Andrew Woodward in his second season, assuming the job after being the assistant coach under Alyssa Broccoli. He is a Brooklyn College graduate, by the way, in the Brooklyn College Athletics Hall of Fame. Back to the starters, Miriam Watara, fifth-year senior middle blocker, the CUNY Player of the Year, as she's joined inside by 6'1" freshman Lily Madison of Fairfield, Connecticut. The right side, Maria Paz Lojano, 5'4" from Peekskill, New York. And then the outside hitters, 5'9" junior Tiana Moss was a transfer from Division III Cayuga College. She became a first-team CUNY All-Star in her first season. And then 5'8" freshman Isabella Williams of Denver, Colorado. She's become the other outside hitter of late. The last 4 matches in October, Isabella Williams forcing her into the starting lineup. And the libero is a graduate transfer from Division II St. Rose, Nadia Lau. She became the CUNY Libero of the Year, leading the conference at over 4 digs per set. And that's a look at the Hunter College Hawks, who went out and scheduled tough. They have shifted people in and out with their 19 players on the roster, and we'll see if they find the right mix immediately, Pat, to try to repeat what they did in the regular season, which was sweep this Brooklyn team. That came earlier in the season where Brooklyn struggled in the first 2 sets, and they never got going before losing 26-24 in the third. But the first 2 sets, 25-15, 25-11, Brooklyn saw what the very top of Hunter looks like that day.
And you can attribute it to maybe having a little bit of a hangover from the final the year before, kind of having that, okay, we want to prove ourselves. We don't have the same leadership as they did with Esri last year. So you want to see that. You want to see if they're able to step up to the plate. And they struggle, which they should, because Hunter's a loaded team. There's the girl on that team that could have played at a Division II team somewhere, and they have a Division II transfer. So that tells you right there the level of competitiveness just within the ranks of Hunter. But this is a different situation, right? And as we mentioned in the open, who's going to step up in a playoff situation, in a championship situation, and who's really got that medal? Right now, Brooklyn does hold that over Hunter. They hold that ability to show up big in big games. So let's see what happens here.
Hunter coach Andrew Woodward saying that his team has been motivated. His returners have been very motivated after losing in last year's CUNY championship, which was at Hunter College. This is a neutral site game, being at Baruch, which is also a rarity. Most years you have Hunter or Baruch hosting, but Brooklyn has crashed the party, which was perennially Hunter versus Baruch for the better part of a decade. But Brooklyn is now in the tournament for the 3rd straight season.
And if you look at Hunter's recruiting status, right? If you look at their roster, yeah, they have 19 girls deep. But look at where these young ladies are coming from. It used to be strictly New York City, strictly Queens, maybe some girls from Jersey, a girl from, Connecticut, and now you're getting California, Hawaii, Colorado. So the diversity of playing styles culminating within the borders of 68th Street and Lexington Avenue has changed, and that's elevated their level of play within the gym, the competition in the gym. The question is, will it translate to a championship, right? But will it translate to an NCAA? A better showing in the NCAA is what Hunter's hoping for.
Yeah, the Hawks have been there 2019. They played number 7 Trinity, actually took a set, lost in 5 sets in 2018 under then coach Alyssa Broccoli. One more look at the starting lineups for the 2 teams. Both teams just having 2 starters back from last year's game. Ashley Fung and Aliyah Rafat of Brooklyn, and Miriam Watara And we'll see a lot of Pearl Mensah, who will play the third middle for Hunter. Underway with Hunter in the yellow and Brooklyn in the maroon, with Angela Lee, our up official, Paul DeCurtis, our down official. Fung hits over the block. Tomeneng organizes inside to Lily Madison. The only reason why Lily was not first team All-CUNY, she got hurt in the very first set, October 11th against NYU. So she missed 11 matches. Otherwise, she'd be at the top of the leaderboard, coming in hitting .357.
She's got a great whip of an arm. She's really refined as a middle hitter, finding the openings under and around the blocks.
Winkleman. Madison getting hands on it. Tomeneng to her right side, and terminating there for Hunter is Maria Paz Lojano. She is considered a game day player. Lives off of energy, and she's coming off of a very good match, maybe the best of her career. 8 kills, 9 digs last night against Baruch, hitting .412 in the semi. Tip from the middle for Rudy Joshi. Moss, and that is Fung with that quick wrist snap, got across, 2-1.
That was a quick wrist snap because of that overpass. Ashley's not one of the tallest hitters out there, but she has a very quick left arm, and her best trait is that she's aggressive at the net.
Winkleman. Tough serving. Amram Ulich, and she will split the setting duties in a modified 5-1 for Brooklyn, but the shot missed. And it's 3-1 Hunter College Hawks. Hunter served Brooklyn arguably out of the gym when the two teams met earlier this season, and that was on October 4th. Hunter in 3 sets, 12 aces, 8 errors, but it was also, as Andrew Woodward points out, the ones that weren't aces were also very tricky. Rafat.
Very similar to that one right there. And Rafat being very creative at the net on that tight set, extending her left arm to push that ball just past the block.
Rafat was outstanding in last year's CUNY championship as a freshman. She went for 16 kills, 16 digs in a true road environment at Hunter. Joshi tying up Lau, the libero. Free ball for Brooklyn. Ulich, Rafat. Tomeneng pushes it outside. Deep tip by Isabella Williams, and it'll go as a kill for Hunter.
Right there was a situation where Brooklyn had a play call with a quick attack, and then the ball just passed the hitter, but there was a little misconnection. The ball was a little lower than Rafat expected.
Lau targeting Winkleman. Fung into a double. And then getting caught in between was Bethany Tomeneng. And Rafat with her second kill at 4-3. Rafat goes 5'11". Winkleman around 5'10". So Brooklyn has pretty solid size for Division III, but they can be small in the middle. Rafat off hands. Tomeneng, first swing for Ouattara. Hunter with a free ball. Tomeneng, and to her right side, and Lojano again.
Lojano coming on that inside set. Rafat actually had her lined up, but then dropped her hands to the outside, which looks like Lojano's natural swing, going outside the block.
Maria Paz from Peekskill, New York. Loud gym here, and we'll see if her reputation of feeding off the crowd will be a factor. There is Rafat. No block, and that ball not coming back.
Rafat matched up against Hunter's setter. Bethany Tomeneng is to Brooklyn's advantage. Just because of, one, because of her vertical ability, but also because of her height.
And then Lau has trouble with it, and it's an ace for Brooklyn.
And now we're looking at those nerves that we're talking about, right? This is an untested kind of young Hunter team where this team hasn't been to a championship yet, but these young ladies over Brooklyn have. So they're attacking them a little more with their serve and really putting them on their heels.
Watara. That's 4 contacts, and Brooklyn takes the lead. Now, while Brooklyn did not play as strong of a schedule as Hunter did, the Bulldogs did finish ranked number 11 as we speak in aces per set in the country, and second only to CCNY in the conference. And Amra Mulic, top 50 in the country in serving. And this one over, and it'll be another ace for the Bulldogs, 7-5.
And that is the tough serving we're talking about. We're talking about placing the ball in areas where the serve receivers are basically putting their own offense in bad odds.
That ball handcuffing DS Ariana Silva on the floor for the first time for Hunter. Now setting front row, Sydney Gdansky. Free ball for Brooklyn. Gdansky only became the setter in late September as part of this modified 5-1. Now she'll look to dump. She was a second-team all-conference outside hitter last year. She was the 3rd pin hitter. And Mateusz Gotowicki had to make the change. Well, that's Tessa Winkleman, and it landed for her with a deep angle.
And that deep angle really should have been a ball that was dug. You can see right there, assistant coach Valenois is telling them, you've got to stay in your base. You can't just chase the ball around. You can't read, don't anticipate.
Dropping that shot in is Isabella Williams of Hunter. Story of perseverance is Isabella Williams. Was recruited to Hunter before COVID, but she had torn her ACL her senior year in Colorado. Went to a junior college, they stayed in touch. And she has ascended into the starting lineup, now 2 years removed from the ACL. Watara. And the ball couldn't be controlled by Rafat, so Miriam Watara. We've been watching her a long time, Pat, and this has been her best season. She told Andrew Woolward she still didn't feel like a finished product at the end of last year.
And I don't think she's a finished product now, but she's more confident in what she knows, what she knows to do and how to do it. She's really attacking the ball more into this season. She has more rhythm and consistency with her setters.
That's Erin Dugan on the floor for Hunter, delivering an ace out of Archbishop Molloy in Queens, Woodhaven, New York. And then she's become the DS behind Nadia Lau. Tough serving by Dugan. Free ball across for Hunter. Tiana Moss. And Fung upping it. Tomineng organizing. Moss another swing. And Moss this time terminates.
A lot of these balls that Hunter are hitting, they're not straight down. They're not going towards the 10-foot line. They're going for the deepest part of the court, which puts the defense at a much tougher opportunity to dig, because now you're turning your body away from the net when you really want to be squared up so you can dig that ball forward a little more.
As she targets Rafat, Gdansky, Winkleman tipping over, Watara. And Miriam Watara able to find it and push it to the far line.
Gdansky's sets are falling a little shallow, a little short. They're not making it to their targeted zone, so the hitters aren't getting opportunities to elevate and swing. So they're just putting over these little tiny chip free balls. That's really playing into Hunter's hands right now defensively.
Brooklyn happy that Erin Dugan is off the service line here at 10-9. Dugan last year was also in the mix as the number 4 outside hitter. She was starting outside during last year's non-conference. But on this deep Hunter team, her role has been carved out as a DS and serving specialist. Moss missing outside. So we are even at 10.
Moss trying to make that shot a little too fine. If she just snapped through and ripped it, she probably would have gotten it where she wanted it to go.
Moss off hands. Winkleman. And Tessa Winkleman will get the kill. Last year at Division I St. Francis Brooklyn, only played in 4 games. But from Grand Haven, Michigan, She got that Division I experience training behind the scenes, and in Division III, she stepped right in and become a major player.
You have to think about the training that they do at Division I. Most Division I's, they're in the weight room. They've got a strength trainer. They've got a nutritionist. So this young lady's coming in pretty much ready to play.
Winkleman and a tough pass across, and it'll end up as an ace for Watara, second ace for Hunter.
And to continue to touch on that, it's not that Division IIIs don't do it. It's just that not all Division IIIs have those kinds of resources. And CUNYs are great schools, but as a CUNY graduate myself, we don't have strength trainers in our gyms. So it's really a matter of us training ourselves and getting ourselves ready.
Winkleman adjusted to the set. Free balled over. Given right back by Brooklyn. Tomine. Moss. Tip deep corner. And Fung, not much she can do with that. Tomine tried to tip. Winkleman battled it back. Now Madison back out of the middle.
Neither team was ahead in that point. Both teams were basically just putting the ball over until someone could make a mistake, and then Hunter gets two opportunities to be in system, and one gets blocked, but this time, that nice little tool off the outside hand of the outside blocker. Great swing by the middle.
Lily Madison is in the prestigious Macaulay Honors College at Hunter, and she went for career high 14 kills in that October 4th meeting. Winkleman missed, and here is the largest lead for Hunter. Timeout, Mateusz Gotowicki of Brooklyn.
And a great timeout, smart timeout, because the lead that Hunter has isn't insurmountable. They've already done it. Brooklyn's already come back from an early deficit at the beginning of this set. The problem right now is there is no rhythm. They were able to pass a couple, dig a couple, and get some momentum builders, and now that momentum's gone. So they have to get that rhythm back. They have to find a way to continuously fight per point, because Hunter does have a much better offensive opportunity, or more offensive opportunities than Brooklyn does.
For Hunter, tough schedule, as we noted right at the very beginning. They drove 3 hours, played at Wilkes College with a 3-0 win there, trying to figure out their lineup. After 2 weeks, 6 days of practice, 4 hours a day. Won at Farmingdale State, lost 3-0 in a hostile environment at Muhlenberg. Lost 3 sets at number 7 NYU after having a 7-match winning streak. So they have continued to push that. And Andrew Woolward was a big believer in scheduling very tough. And he hopes that pays off tonight.
Well, your goal as a coach is to always prepare your girls for postseason, right? Your preseason is to prepare you for conference. Conference is to prepare you for post. And even in between conference play and postseason, you have other games in there to kind of test your mettle, right? So hopefully they're building their future NCAA medal.
Lily Madison again. So that's her 3rd kill to match Rafat of Brooklyn. And Madison, also, if she had been healthy, might have won CUNY Rookie of the Year, but it went to her teammate, freshman center Bethany Tomine. And now we'll get a double contact called against Brooklyn. So Hunter pulling away here, opening set 16-11.
Tomine's been a solid setter for them all season, both as an attacking setter and a blocking setter, running pretty solid offense.
Winkleman and Dugan able to up it. Gdansky further in the middle, and Madison with the block on Winkleman.
One more time, that ball is a little low from Gdansky. It's not allowing Winkleman, who has a pretty good vertical, to get high enough to actually tool the top of the block. She's actually hitting the ball just at the top of the tape into the middle of the block.
Watara, tough serving, and a free ball over by Brooklyn. However, a mistake, Winkleman, as it was an overpass in the first contact. Now Brooklyn with the advantage. However, Winkleman failing on the tip. Tiana Moss shanked it. So 16-12. And for Brooklyn, they're using two setters because they had to fill in the huge, huge shoes, Patrick, of truly a great leader that we witnessed over 3 years, and that's Esri Shore. First team All-CUNY, 3-year starting center. She is now an assistant coach right here at Baruch and is here watching. And what a leader she was that Brooklyn has been trying to replace all season, as there is Winkleman on the block to get the point.
It's difficult to replace someone who is basically a legend in Brooklyn. Her parents met there. She went to school there and led them to their first championship since 1982. So she has bled gold and maroon her whole life. So you have to think about the kind of leadership she was giving, and that's what you need to find again in this group.
Dugan back row attack, and that'll be 4 contacts as they set the DS, albeit Dugan very capable of hitting, as I noted. And that was the big question for Mateusz Gotowicki. They returned 6 players and 4 starters, but then losing their libero and a backup middle during the season, that changed them as Moss converts to make it 18-14. And they have been trying to train a setter all year, bringing in 5'4" freshman Amram Ulic, who was a hitter really in high school that they tried to convert. And then Gdansky, as I said, she was a pretty good outside last year. And now it's Mulich setting. Fung. And Ashley Fung will come up with the kill. Her second. Hunter is led by as many as 5, 16-11. Hunter hitting 179. Brooklyn under 100. Tough serving by Winkleman. And the over is called by Angie Lee.
That's a tough serve. Here it is again. Winkleman was actually the last time Brooklyn made a run because of her tough serving. So she puts a lot of pressure on the serve receivers. And as I say that, sports guy Jake, she serves out.
Now it's 19-16.
Hunter can roll out numerous serving specialists. This is senior from Colonia, New Jersey, Ariana Silva. She goes with the deep float. Fung. And Fung with a swing down the line over the double.
Ashley Fung might be 5'6", sometimes 5'8", but she jumps as if she's 6'2", and she elevates well. And what she did there was she found the smallest seam between the blockers and basically bounced the ball on the 18-foot line.
Now Ruti Joshi. Targeting Lau. Outside Williams is blocked. The newcomer to the Brooklyn starting lineup is 17, the 6-foot-tall Ayatollah El-Kontbi, 6-foot freshman from Cairo, Egypt, by way of Roosevelt High School in Brooklyn. A developing player that was pushed into the starting lineup with a departure within the middle during the year. Overpass, and that's terminated by Rafat, and we're tied at 19.
One more time, Brooklyn serving is challenging the Hunter serve receive. They're doing more of a hybrid 2-person serve receive, where 2 people are taking predominantly most of the court, and then their other outside is just taking a small little section. And when you do that, there's so many gaps, there's so many seams, so many spaces, that if you have a good, tough server and they can hit those spots, you're going to put a team like Hunter that needs to run a clean offense in system, out of system every time.
4th kill for Aliyah Rafat. Brooklyn last night had a really long party, we can add to, Pat. They're coming in off of a thrilling 3-2 5-set win last night over John Jay in the semifinals. 15-11 in the 5th. Tessa Winkleman had to go for 27 kills. They hit 185. Perhaps that'll be a factor in playing in the back-to-back, but these are also young kids. We'll see if perhaps the momentum of Brooklyn winning a tight affair last night will play into things. Andrew Woodward's team last night had a pretty easy go of it in their semifinal against Baruch.
And he doesn't really look very concerned right now because he knows that he has more firepower, but I think what he is concerned about is the progress of their service heat. It started off hot, and now it's kind of dying off as the set has progressed.
Rudy Joshi from Elmhurst in Queens. Lau perfect on the pass. Williams side out Hunter.
And right there is exactly what we're talking about. A great pass by Lau. Dead center of the court. You allow Madison to come through, running that very quick tempo middle. Now you're relieving Williams all by herself, one-on-one. Ashley Funk can block, don't get me wrong, but Williams should win that battle.
Ulich for Rafat, and there is Ouattara with the block.
And there's an example of not a great pass, making your team very one-dimensional, allowing the leading blocker in the conference to just read a simple set, move over, and roof you.
Winkleman targeted, Mulich to the right side, Fung. Williams had fallen down, and this one hits the ceiling. Isabella Williams kind of slipped in her approach, and that threw everything off.
On her retreat from the net or her transition off the net, she actually clipped her own heels and fell backwards. Unfortunately, the setter didn't see that and set her on that return.
Ouattara. Mariam Ouattara had a 20-kill match this year as a middle blocker at Merchant Marine Academy.
Which is a rarity for middles. That means that she had gotten it set at least 25 to 30 times.
Tough serving by Lohano. Ouattara pushes deep corner. Rafat rolls it. Ouattara, the hot hand. Joust. And there is the 6-foot freshman in El Khatbi on the net. Rafat took a little off.
Again, that inside set, what some people may consider, like a 32 or a mid-tempo set, brings her a little inside. It's still a little low. Rafat is long and she's tall. You want to set that ball a little bit higher so she can swing over the top of the block and not have it drop.
It's an ace that drops in.
Big ace right there. Rookie of the year last year, major factor on this team in the championship game last year. So she knows what she has to do and she's executing well right now.
They go to Williams. No touch, and Brooklyn takes the lead late in the opening set.
And that's the first lead. That's the first major momentum breaker for Brooklyn in this match, where it was a great selection, but that ball was a little inside, and Williams couldn't get on top of it and hit it a little flat and out. Another ball off the net here on this pass.
Ouattara converts.
And that ball, again, was a little inside, not where the setter wanted it, but Ouattara, being as tall as she did, when she hit it, she actually brought it down to the top of the net. There was a small space, a seam between the two blockers. If they had closed, that might have been a roof, and that might have actually taken all the air out of Hunter.
Look who might be the closer for Hunter, Erin Dugan. Tied at 23, first set. Perfect pass, Gdansky went with the second contact. Moss. Fung from the 10-foot line. Dugan fought it off, and it's punched down right to El Khatbi.
And Yuki just went up. She didn't even hesitate. She might not be the best middle blocker, but she just popped that ball straight down against the best blocker in the conference.
She's coming off of a 7-block semifinal. Set point of the first for Brooklyn. Moss. And Rafat has to give up the free ball. Tomeneng, Ouattara tipping, and we'll have extra points.
And that should never happen. When you get a ball like that, that libero should be sitting in that zone, because when you get a double block, that's exactly where you should be sitting as the libero, because that's the only place the middle can put it.
Winkleman, and it went. Big time swing, Tessa Winkleman.
That's the pedigree of a Division I athlete who's been training and working in a Division I program coming to a Division III school. There isn't a ball that she doesn't think she can put in the court.
Set point again, Brooklyn. Moss. And we'll keep going. Tiana Moss played a bunch last year at CUNYAC College, way upstate New York, where she was a 2-year starting outside hitter and has had a pretty good hitting percentage. 25 all.
A little off-balance dig there by the Brooklyn libero. She kind of fell for it. She really didn't extend her legs and get those arms under that ball to give a good lift.
Tomineng targeting Guinata. Fung. Madison back on the floor in rotation for Hunter. Fung gives up the freebie. Moss outside. That landed in.
Ralph, this is absolutely a different Brooklyn team than what Hunter saw earlier this year. This team, again, has the playoff medal, and they're showing it right now. If Hunter pulls it out, which Brooklyn team are you going to get now?
Set point, Hunter. Rafat, back row attack. Lau, here's the chance to end it, and Lohano only went the roll shot. Guinata setting for Fung. Tomineng, Madison. That's it. Hunter takes the opening set after facing a set point. They take in an extra points, 27-25.
And that's a great set, but might not have been where she wanted to go. Great kill, great end for Hunter. But this should be what a final looks like. And if you know it, Brooklyn is going to come back tougher in the second set, or maybe Hunter will clean it up.
We are just getting started. Hunter, perennial power, defending champion Brooklyn. 27-25 at the end of one. We're back on Facebook Live.
Hometown Ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake it. You better get yourself ready, 'cause I'm about to do my thing. Oh, hey, hey. I've seen it from the van, now we're dancing on the house lights. Oh, hey, hey. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside, upside, upside. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside.
So the Hunter College Hawks facing a set point against them at 25-24, find a way to take the opener 27-25. Ralph Bednarczyk with Patrick Dietz. Hunter hit 205, Brooklyn 152. Both teams with major chances there. What do you take from the first set as we'll see the final point here? What do you take away from the opening set that may be a factor the rest of the way?
We talked about one of these teams having a little bit more playoff experience, right? And maybe a little bit different kind of leadership. The reality is both teams struggle with servicing. Both teams struggle with confidence in their setters. But one team has a group of athletes looking to dominate and set their mark, and the other team is just looking to repeat something they've already established in themselves and find a way back to it. I say this because that Brooklyn team didn't play poorly. Their service was not very good at the beginning, but when they started to pick it up, when they started to gain confidence each play, that playoff medal showed. This Hunter team, they still don't know who they are really. They have one person that they're confident on, and everyone else is still trying to find their footing. So they're using emotion the same way Brooklyn is. I can't take anything away from this. It's just the first set. this set will be the set that determines who's going to win the championship. We talked about it off air, you and I. If Brooklyn wins this set and they come out and battle hard and take an early lead, this match will go to 4, and it's a toss-up. If Hunter wins this set and establishes an identity, I think they're going to roll through in 3.
Hunter rolled through in the first 2 sets in the regular season meeting, as we noted, big, and then Brooklyn, trying to avoid a sweep, forced extra points in the 3rd that day. And volleyball, of course, such a momentum sport. Second set underway. Rudy Joshi has it just missed for her. And they start at 1-0 Hunter Hawks. Here's Bethany Tomeneng. Get this, Pat. She played for Sato Volleyball on the club circuit growing up in San Diego. For former U.S. Olympian, the great Eric Sato, known as one of the best defensive specialists in the world in the 80s and 90s. Bethany Tomeneng, a lot of experience, of course, playing back row at 5'4". And now being the setter, there's Bethany for Madison. Tomeneng outside now tries Moss, and Moss gets the kill. 2-0 Hunter.
That was a great swing by Moss. She swang actually on that one compared to the swings that she took in the first set. She actually let it rip. The first few she was trying to over control and she was missing the court. That one she just snapped on it and hitting it cross court. Gdansky out right now for Brooklyn, so they've changed setters.
So now it's Amram Ulich setting back row. Fung, that's been her best swing. We've been watching Ashley Fung, a day 1 starter for a long time, Pat, from Long Island City High School in Elmhurst. Former CUNY Rookie of the Year in 2019.
She's been one of those young ladies that helped establish the identity of this new Brooklyn team.
Hunter off the service error. And now Nadia Lau of Ossining, New York, pursuing a second bachelor's degree at Hunter after graduating from St. Rose up in Albany. Fung with the hitting error, with Lau continuing.
Getting a little bit of struggle with Brooklyn in their serve receive to start off this set.
And Grenada, and this is going to result in a free ball. Tomeneng, Watara slowed down. Ulich outside, Rafat.
Ulich put that ball up a lot higher from off the net, giving Rafat a chance to find the top of the hands. We always say as coaches, you want to err on the high side than the low side. You want to give your hitters an opportunity to go high off the block, like right here. Look at how much higher that ball is coming off of Mulinich's hands compared to Gdansky's.
Good pass to the front, Tomeneng. A swing by Williams. Fung on the right side. And Hunter getting hands on it.
Ball off the net.
Lojano. Well, Maria Paz Lojano started her career at one of your stomping grounds, one of your many, Pat, Division II Concordia. The late Division II Concordia up in the Bronx, but the school closed its doors in the spring of 21, and she transferred to Hunter, where she is in her 2nd year, a junior, 2-year starter on the right side. Williams, and Williams got caught in between.
And that was the right idea for a shot. It just got stuck in her fingers. But to touch on Concordia, when the program closed, it's a Division II program. When that school closed down, taken over by Iona College now, a lot of those young ladies were looking for places to play, and they all went to Division III schools. A couple of girls went to Sarah Lawrence. Some girls went to USMMA, and one ended up here at Hunter College.
Watara, and that'll be a lift called, unfortunately, for Ayatollah El Kotbi. But El Kotbi's been a factor already for a player that was supposed to have a development type season, and she was forced into the starting lineup A career-high 7 blocks last night and has had a factor tonight.
And that's important for her because if she can't contribute offensively, she knows that she can at least give a little bit of help defensively.
And Fung well short there, so a little separation now for Hunter in this second set.
And this is where you start to test. This is the rotation that they struggled with in the second, towards the middle of set 1, with Rafat coming out of that left back area.
El Kotbi swinging. Gdansky low set, and Rafat can only push it. Tomeneng. Gdansky better. Rafat. And then Rafat delivers a strong ball.
And that is the key right there. I understand that Gdansky wants to get that ball out there faster, but speed doesn't mean lack of height. Get that ball up there. Let Rafat go up there and do what she does best, which is tool and hit around the block.
It's taken some time for Rafat to connect with 2 new setters. He's had a bigger second half of the year as Tiana Moss tees off.
Tiana Moss again is starting to swing a little harder. She's starting to find her groove. She's bringing the ball down a little bit to the block, but because she swings so fast, the block isn't penetrating across the net fast enough to stop her.
She's the best jumper on this Hunter team.
By far.
Winkleman outside. Madison. El Kotbi. And it missed.
There might have been a missed call right there by the lines judges. There was a possible touch.
That was a swing over the head of the 6'1" Lily Madison. And Brooklyn, again, struggling still serve receive. Dugan. Well, what a luxury it is when you can set your defensive specialist and they can do that.
That was Dugan making up for her missed swing in the last set, where she kind of got on top of that ball and hit into the middle top of the net, and the ball kind of dropped. But that one, she rolled it just past the block.
10-5 Hunter with a timeout on the floor.
How easy is health insurance with Health First? Absolutely easy with our app. Can you search for a doctor? Absolutely. Can you access your member ID? Absolutely. Download our app today.
Hometown Ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
The Hunter College Hawks, they won the regular season championship again. They've won 26 CUNY titles. They're in this final at minimum basically every year. But they lost last year to Brooklyn in 5 sets. And for the returning players, Andrew Woolward described, that has really sat in their stomachs. And they look for the redemption tonight. That shot goes for Tessa Winkleman. And Brooklyn converts out of the timeout. Winkleman up to 4 kills. Fung also with 4. Rafat, the high player for Brooklyn, with 7, and she leads everybody.
There's a little confusion right there on the court for Brooklyn as to who's serving. The libero's serving for one of the middles.
Alanis Guinada, and she became the starting libero October 13th. After Brooklyn had 2 players leave the program, she was the DS last year and sliding up a spot and wearing the jersey. Very experienced. Dugan. Winkleman, and Dugan ups it. Good pass to Gdansky, and Gdansky just couldn't get her hands where she wanted to.
Again, it's one of those things where she's trying really hard to be quicker with her release. All she's got to do is settle in, just lay the ball up. Let your hitters do the work for you.
Gdański with the bump set for Winkleman. Dugan rolls it over. And Winkleman misses. Tell me about the thought process here. So much pressure, Pat, on Sydney Gdański, who is very versatile. She's played a little DS last year, was a high school libero, and being asked to set and connect with these terrific Division III pin hitters that they have.
The transition's difficult because not only is it a position of influence, it's the position that gets you every point. You know, because the setter touches 80 to 85% of the balls. So it's decision making, it's vision, it's, you know, confidence. So to be a setter, no matter what division it is, you've got to be able to like what you're doing. And if you're struggling, that's going to happen right there. Your serve receive is going to struggle because now they're going to try to make every ball perfect for you. And that's not the real goal for serve receive. Your goal for serve receive is just pop that ball up, and then the setter just goes in and kind of lays everything up.
Timeout Brooklyn after a receiving error. It'll be an ace, 14-6, largest lead of the night for Hunter in either set. And for the Bulldogs as they try to sort things through. And for Gdański, who can play all those kinds of different roles, tough to train a setter, Pat, also in season. And that's what Mateusz Gotowicki of Brooklyn is aiming to do, not just with her, with Gdański front row, but his back row setter in his modified 5-1 in Amra Mulic.
And again, you don't get enough reps in a 2-hour practice. Because when you're in season, you're NCAA rule, you're only allowed 20 hours to practice, right? So, and then they have classes, and a lot of these girls work. So you only get 2 hours, and you can't get enough touches. You can't get enough reps to clean up those hands and work on location and work on selection and work on running an offense. So there's just not enough time.
Bethany Tomeneng.
And also learn the playbook.
Yep. Rafat, Gdański chases it down the second ball. Winkleman slowed down by Moss. Gdański, Winkleman, tip deep corner. Madison, and Madison swinging over the smaller middle in Joshi.
And there's the thing that we talked about off air during our break. Hunter has more opportunities for offense compared to Brooklyn that only really has 2, maybe 3 possible hitters.
They'll say that was a tip, but it went out. And Hunter running away with this second set. The lead 10, 16-6. After it was 6-4. And now an ace as Grenada could not up it. And the Hawks pouring it on in set 2 with Bethany Tomeneng.
And they're really going after the wing spaces and seams on Hunter's serve receive.
Fung, perfect there to Gdański. Winkleman, and again the set drifted too far and out.
Just past the antenna, putting Winkleman in a really tough angle. She tried to drop that ball in an impossible spot. Hunter's doing a sub. They're bringing in their second setter right now.
Yeah, that's Kiara Abreu out of Middletown, New York. Backup setter, also started her career at Division II Concordia. The backup setter, and she'll come in to serve here. 8-0 run for Hunter. Joshi with a good swing, up by Abreu. Winkleman. Joshi, and that's Joshi the middle, called for the double contact.
She wasn't able to release off the net fast enough to get out of Gdański's way so that she could set. So she just, hey, I'm gonna do something here.
Abreu. Fung. And Fung trying to hit from the 10-foot line.
Point goes to the Hawks.
And the old saying is the wheels are off the train right now. Everyone's trying really hard to stop the bleeding, to make sure things work better for Brooklyn.
Brooklyn has already used both timeouts, and that stops the run.
That is number 6.
A 10-0 run stopped by Winkleman.
Winkleman basically said, I'm not going to jump as big as I can. I'm just going to find for the smallest space between the blockers so that I know the defenders aren't going to be there. Tough serve. Great serve right there.
Free ball for Brooklyn. They were able to put together a nice run in the first set. And now consecutive points, Ruti Joshi.
Undersized middle. She's about 5'5". And she's playing completely out of position. She's really a right side. So you have this young lady playing out of position and battling defensively.
Abreu. Well, Madison somehow got it over despite the missed connection. Now Winkleman hammers away. Abreu for Moss. And it's a 3-0 response by Brooklyn. Still a long way to go.
I hear the drum beats of LL Cool J in the background.
Abreu. And Moss will tool the block. 7 kills for Tiana Moss of Colorado Springs, Colorado. And she loved visiting New York City last year with her family upon the transfer. 21-9. Ariana Silva. Off tape. Now Mulich. Tough set with the bump. Abreu in for Madison. Mulich for Fung. Abreu back set for Lojano. And there is Ruti Joshi. Ruti Joshi is a physical education major. She's already an assistant coach along with Ashley Fung and our pal Leszek Stankiewicz, former head coach and player at York of the middle school team at the Dalton School in the city.
That is correct, right there on 87th Street.
Coaching young players.
Between 3rd and 2nd Avenue.
Booming swing from Isabella Williams of Hunter.
The return by Isabella Williams takes a Hunter bounce.
Again, Hunter just has more offensive firepower.
Now will serve.
Isabella, when she was healthy her senior year, 2nd team All-State in Class 4A in Colorado. Pretty good classification. And now an ace to follow it up. And Hunter putting on the finishing touches of an explosion in the second set. This was a 5-4 score. And then an ace off the tape for Nadia Lau. But the 10-0 run to take the score from 10-6 to 20-6 is the ultimate undoing. Mulich for Fung. And that block landed just out.
I think that's, though Ashley's had a lot of really good swings throughout this set, she hasn't really had the same kinds of swings that she did last year in this final. That were almost momentum killers for Hunter and mountain builders for Brooklyn.
Last year, Ashley Fung, Pat, 17 kills, 13 digs, as there's an overpass for Ayatollah El Kotbi. But it was a smaller Hunter team as well, as Andrew Woodward describing recruiting now 2 years after heavy COVID protocols, and Hunter really reloaded, starting the season with a roster of 20, one player left, so with 19. And Andrew Woodward said that is our strength. It's never easy, though, to manage that many different personalities, as he described, with transfers, freshmen, returners. But describing how his team really bought in to be the #1 rather than 19. Lojano with the put away. 25-12, the final score in set 2. Hunter put together the big run, and now they will look for the sweep and a return to the top of the CUNY in women's volleyball when we come back on Facebook Live.
How easy is health insurance with Health First? Absolutely easy with our app. Can you search for a doctor? Absolutely. Can you access your member ID? Absolutely. Download our app today.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake it. You better get yourself ready, 'cause I'm about to do my thing. Oh, hey, hey. I'm sitting from the van, now we're dancing on the half lights. Oh, hey, hey. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside, upside, upside. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside.
Hometown ticketing makes it fast and easy to buy tickets on your school's website or in the new Hometown Fan app. It's simple. Just search for your school, buy your tickets, and they'll be right there in your account, ready to be scanned when you get to your event. Download the Hometown Fan app today.
The big run by Hunter, and they quickly put away Brooklyn in the second set, 25-12. The Hunter College Hawks, winners of 26 CUNY championships in the 39 years of the tournament's existence. They've won more conference titles in women's volleyball than any other school has won in any other sport in the CUNYs. But they lost last year in 5 with a bit of a skeleton roster like most of the CUNYs did. And in 2019, they had defeated Brooklyn that year in 3 sets under then coach Alyssa Broccoli. I thought Mateusz Gotowicki put it well even last year. He wants to make his Brooklyn team a powerhouse because Hunter's not going to get worse. They recruit so well no matter who the coach is. So Brooklyn and all the other programs have to find a way to match Hunter in the future because the bar is set that high. There's no other choice.
No, you and I have done so many championships now over the past almost 19, 20 years. And every time we look at the banner, there's another championship on that banner. And it's not just volleyball, but it's every sport. They're up to 121 championships right now. That's Hunter. They have set the athletic bar in the CUNYAC for almost every sport. The question isn't, can Brooklyn match them, because that's not the expectation, right? The question is, can they meet their energy? Can they meet their level of execution? You can have less players. I mean, every other CUNY team does compared to Hunter College, but it's, are you getting the same quality of kid? Are you getting the same quality of actuation and play? Are you getting the same level of enthusiasm? And that's really what Hunter has fervently built. They've built a culture of, we're the best, and if you want to be the best, at least within the CUNYAC, you're going to come to us, and that's where all the kids go.
And Baruch, new coaching staff as well, with Coach Alex Newell and assistant Brooklyn graduate Esri Shore, trying to rebuild it. But Hunter has set the bar very high as they pursue a sweep here for the third set. Then if you're Mateusz Gotowicki here of Brooklyn, you had set point 25-24 in the first set. How much of that perhaps disappointment carried over to the second set for his team?
It was literally like a Mike Tyson uppercut. Because you have to think about, if you ever watch a Tyson fight, a lot of these guys are really confident. They're a lot of the men that Mike Tyson has fought, they're very confident. They're up there, they're hitting the jab, they're getting those little body shots, and then out of nowhere, Tyson does his one little bob, one body shot, and then the uppercut. That's literally what happened in that first set. Brooklyn was jabbing, keeping Hunter within range, and when they got the momentum shift at 23-22, we're like, okay, maybe this is an opportunity there. And then all of a sudden, 24-23. Then you lose the momentum, and you make a couple of mistakes, you lose the set. And that's the uppercut. That's the gut punch.
Hunter had 3 aces in the second set, but that doesn't tell the full story of Brooklyn in serve receive. Brooklyn hit minus 0.29 in the second. Hunter hit 240. And now the Bulldogs trying to rally the team, and this is where, again, after graduating their great leader, setter Esri Shore, who will be the voice to try to rally Brooklyn, take this third set, and at least force Hunter to earn it in 4. Moss, head off, hands there, Rudy Joshi again.
Number 3 is underway. Brooklyn strikes first. Serving with the number 8, Sydney Gdansky.
Gdansky and Dugan perfect. However, they'll call Tomenang on the double contact. That's rare. Andrew Woolward, loving the hands of Bethany Tomenang this year, estimates she's maybe only been called for double contact about 10 times all season. That's a very low number for any setter anywhere.
When Eric Sato is your coach, you don't double very often.
And Joshi tried to tip.
There was a lot of miscommunication right there. Joshi came in for a 1-ball. Gdansk set a 2-ball instead. 1-ball, 2-ball. 1-ball is a quicker tempo than a 2-ball. It's slightly lower. That's what happens when you switch setters. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Tomenang angles it at Rafat. Winkleman. And it'll be a net violation on Tessa Winkleman. I think on the follow-through, 2-2.
A good in-system pass, a good in-system set, a little tight. Winkleman touches the net.
Mulich, and Rafat only can roll. Moss. And this one has to be a free ball. Lojano.
Under the net, Lojano, that ball was tight. And Lojano ended up landing on the other side of the net.
Yeah, she had to do the limbo there right in front of us to try to avoid the net. But still ended up making contact. So Brooklyn at 3-2. Meanwhile, Tessa Winkleman, 5 kills on 30 swings. So triple zeros. Brooklyn has not been able to find her like they did last night when she went for a career-high 27 against John Jay. Winkleman had tied up Dugan. Free ball. Mulich. Rafat can only swing left. And then Moss finishes it off out of system.
Both teams completely out of sorts. Both teams completely out of sorts. Oh, wait a minute. They're saying Paul DeCurtis, the down official, saying that Moss was in the net on her follow-through. So point to Brooklyn.
Now an overpass, and touching it down is Aaliyah Rafat.
Right now the momentum is solely on Brooklyn's side, riding emotion.
Largest lead of the night for Brooklyn. And Winkleman was hoping to land it on the back line. Hunter will bring in Beverly Wong again, senior out of Brooklyn Tech, who was a starting outside hitter last year, and the number 3 setter back as a freshman in 2019. She's played every role and very trusted by Andrew Woolward and staff. Rafat hits off the antenna.
That ball again on a bump set was low and shooting past the antenna, and Rafat's trying to save it.
Brooklyn thought that ball was going out. They played it as Simone McIntyre has come in for the first time. 5'9" freshman from Santa Cruz, California. On the outside for Hunter as Joshi tried to roll it. And now we're tied in the third set.
Brooklyn's serve receive is broken down.
Fung. Madison out of the middle, quick set.
She was screaming for that ball even before the setter got into the zone. She stopped, she saw where the ball was, and just took a little two-step hop and attack. Smooth by her.
They love her tireless energy, always asking the right questions. And going to be a mainstay in this conference as Fung, great ball up by Tomine. Fung, and that point is going to go to the back row of Hunter.
Asher was trying to go over on 2 right there, and the block wasn't there. She really could have just snapped straight down, but that's a savvy veteran move. Just didn't get the execution that she wanted out of it.
And that'll be a lift called against Tomine with a pass tight to the net from Wong. So back and forth we go, third set. Looking a lot like the opening set that Hunter won 27-25. So Ruti Joshi, she is a freshman but 4 years out of high school. Was in school last year, wasn't sure about playing as Joshi delivers an ace, 7-all. Decided she wasn't going to be nervous anymore about playing. Came out for the team during the pandemic quarantine period, was at LaGuardia Community College as a student and at Queens College. Wants to go into coaching and childhood friends with Ashley Fung. Joshi with back-to-back aces and Brooklyn back in front.
It's a little lucky trickle off the top of the net right there.
And consecutive aces, 3 in a row as Lau then saw the fastball from Joshi.
It's more like a Timmy Wakefield 89-mile-per-hour knuckler.
I don't think the knuckle was 89
was
miles
never
an
that
hour.
fast,
I don't
no.
think so.
But at least he hit it consistent.
She's out of Central Park East High School, making the trip to the city from Elmhurst. Also targeting Lau there, and all of a sudden, Hunter's serve receive has fallen apart. Well, Andrew Woolward on the floor. He's going to put just 2 in the back row, Wong and Lau.
Lau starts so far back, she's practically touching the end line. She's moving forward as that ball's traveling at her, so that's what's going to happen. She's going to overread the ball and get too far under it.
That ball came crashing off the ceiling. Rafat. McIntyre.
There was that inside set again to Rafat, and again, it's too low for her to elevate. Brooklyn's serving is really attacking Hunter, but it's not because of speed. It's all because of location. It's either dropping short or moving wider than the serve receiver can take.
Timeout Hunter with Brooklyn making a push on Facebook Live.
How easy is health insurance with Health First? Absolutely easy with our app. Can you search for a doctor? Absolutely. Can you access your member ID? Absolutely. Download our app today.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake it. You better get yourself ready, 'cause I'm about to do my thing. Oh, hey, hey. I've seen it from the van, now we're dancing on the half lights. Oh, hey, hey. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside, upside, upside. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside.
It's a 7-0 run by Brooklyn with 5'6" freshman Ruti Joshi on the service line for the Bulldogs. And she has done it all. They needed a middle blocker, and she's had to become their most experienced here at the end of the season out of nowhere. And she has served up 3 aces during this 7-point run. Another good low one. Wong to the front, Tomaneng. And Madison finally stops the bleeding for Hunter. So here's Nadia Lau, who was 4th team All-State at the big school level as a high school junior out of Ossining. And played 3 years at Division II St. Rose, a lot as their defensive specialist. One big missing piece for Hunter that I certainly want to mention, their outstanding libero from last year, Erin Hyman, who would be a sophomore. Last year's CUNY Libero of the Year got hurt with a foot injury. 2nd game of the season as Rafat delivers another big kill.
This may be a situation where Coach Woolward is going to start bringing back his better players to close out this match.
Well, we see Miriam Ouattara on the floor for the first time early second, and Ouattara immediately converts.
Number 16,
The inexperienced middle from Cairo for Brooklyn went up with the back row setter, and Ouattara was left with an open net.
And that's the fine line that Hunter has, as Andrew Woolward explained to us pregame, that because we're so deep, he can kind of hedge his bets at times in 2nd and 3rd sets, mix people in to provide a spark, pull his starters to give other people an opportunity too to play in a championship game, because as he's felt, they're about 3 or 4 deep at each position when everybody is healthy. Now Ouattara, she's the player of the year, but aside from that, I got the sense that he feels he can pretty much pull everybody out and there won't be too much of a drop-off.
There shouldn't be, because when you get the best of the best in the area, you're going to be the team to beat no matter what.
So Ouattara, immediately inserted back in, has gone for a couple of kills. And Miriam now with 8 and is hitting .400.
This is where Hunter's probably going to make a push.
Dugan. And Dugan went at Ayatollah El Kotbi, who was trying to hide on the floor, the freshman middle, and Dugan immediately targeted her.
And dropped that ball right in her lap. It was actually a pretty good pass.
Dugan, this time at Fung. El Kotbi will get the swing, and right into the block of Ouattara.
Best blocker in the conference player of the year, and you're an inexperienced middle, you're not going to get that ball past her.
And Rafat caught a little leaning and not in her platform, and here comes Hunter to try to tie. Tomaneng, Moss, 13 all.
The Hunter bench having a lot of fun right there. Moss's swing, they're saying that she was a sniper hitting that back corner, and I kind of agree with them.
13 all, timeout Brooklyn, and the Hawks perhaps trying to stun the Bulldogs and complete the sweep on Facebook Live.
How easy is health insurance with Health First? Absolutely easy with our app. Can you search for a doctor? Absolutely. Can you access your member ID? Absolutely. Download our app today.
I'll give you something, make you shake it, shake it. You better get yourself ready, 'cause I'm about to do my thing. Oh, hey, hey. I've seen it from the van, now we're dancing on the half-lights. Oh, hey, hey. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside, upside, upside. I'm turning on the dime, now we're flipping on the upside.
So Hunter used a timeout at 11-7, and they have battled back to even up the third set at 13 apiece. with junior Aaron Dugan on the service line. Fong perfect to Gdansky. Winkleman, and that went down.
That's exactly the ball they want to get to Winkleman. A nice high tempo set. Let her elevate and find the seams between the block.
And Grenada will come up with an ace. That's Kayla Treadwell in the back row for Hunter. She would be like their third defensive specialist out of New Hyde Park, Nassau County on the island. 7th ace for Brooklyn tonight. Moss, and Moss goes cross court.
High over the block, deep into the corner. It was a pretty good pass, but it chased the setter right to left on the net, so it made it predictable out where you were saying she just elevated higher than the block could get to.
Following the service error. So Brooklyn has handled the Hunter run. They lead by 2. Gdansky targeting Dugan. Madison. And the block put on by Winkleman.
Right there was a situation that Brooklyn didn't execute in the first set, where the ball is off the net and wrapping both blockers around that set so that there is no room for Madison to swing around them.
Moss, high tip. Fung slowed down by the block. Dugan, it's an overpass and it'll work out as a kill. Rudy Joshi saw that coming down and a break for Hunter.
And she did the right thing. Her instincts were to jump up and try to block it, but because she swung her hands back behind her and then pressed over the net, she gave the ball just a little bit of space to squeeze in between her and the net.
Again, Madison getting hands on it. Free ball for Brooklyn. Mulich for Winkleman into the block, and that's Lohano.
This is the rotation where Brooklyn has struggled the most. When Ashley Fung first gets front row, they're not able to get her a ball because of their serve receive.
Madison out of system, able to tip it right in the middle of the bagel.
They did.
17 all.
Sorry about that, Ralph. Brooklyn did everything right there. They got the right swing. It was a haphazard dig, and then just this little pokey wrist twisty thing done by Madison.
This one came up and hit one of the pipes above the net, and that changed the course of the ball. So Brooklyn gladly takes the break.
There's a net divider right above the court here at the arc, so it really affected them. Great serve by Winkleman going down that line. Timeout called here by Coach Woodward. Ralph, we've talked about this. You and I have talked about this for years off air, and it always comes to fruition. The team that wins set 2 is always the team that finds a way to win the next 2 sets. Right now, Hunter is kind of, I don't want to say complacent, but kind of resting on their laurels. They know they're the better athletic team. Brooklyn is still playing with that passion. I think Hunter needs to find their way, find their passion, come back into it, and really attack this Brooklyn team if they want this match to end. I've never said this before, but I will. If Brooklyn wins set 3, they will come back and win in 5. And I'm saying it on air. If Brooklyn wins set 3, they will come back and win it in 5, because now they'll be riding that momentum, and Hunter's going to be questioning themselves, why didn't we put him away when we should have?
1917, Brooklyn Bulldogs. An early run gave them a 4-point advantage. The Hunter starters like Moss and Watara both coming back on the floor. Neither team hitting a great percentage. But Brooklyn has gotten the job done at the service line. First it was Joshi, and now Winkleman. And consecutive aces.
One more time. The Hunter serve receivers are starting way back in the court, and they're almost charging at a ball that they're misreading, they're overreading it.
Lohano, and she stabilizes things for Hunter.
Hunter's been attacking Rafat on serve receive. Let's see if they keep up with that.
Beverly Wong at Winkleman. And Rafat didn't quite have the rhythm into the swing.
She went a little quicker than she normally would have on that attack.
And Guinata, that ball might have been going out, and it'll be an ace. So Wong ties it up. Final timeout, Brooklyn. So both coaches have spent their timeouts here now late in this third set. Even at 20 with Beverly Wong continuing. And Hunter continuing to cycle in different personnel. That's been their great strength this season. Plugging in a freshman center in Bethany Tomeneng. Losing their starting libero. Next person up, a D2 transfer, Nadia Lau. And Hunter has been tested this year. Here's a look at the awards. Tomeneng, after being pressed into that spot, winning Rookie of the Year. Watara, the Player of the Year. And both teams represented on the first team CUNY All-Star team. Third set, Hunter hitting a respectable 200. And Brooklyn has found themselves very much in this set, still with a minus 167.
Really, it's been Brooklyn's serving and defense that's kept them in this match. If they can shore that up again, I do think they can win this third set.
Wong. And Rafat off hands. Lohano. Mulich, better swing for Rafat. Fung. And Fung hit the second contact and will deliver the kill.
Again, Ashley Fung using a little bit of guile right there, taking that ball on two, not letting the setter get to it. And here goes where they made their best run in this set.
Rudy Joshi had an 8-0 run earlier in this third set. Goes right at Lau. Madison. Lohano. $21-all. Again, when the lights are on, Maria Paz Lohano has been known to be someone that plays like she's 6 foot, despite being listed 5'4", and loves when it's crunch time. Lau targeting Rafat. Watara, and Hunter takes the lead in the third.
Hunter leads 22-21.
9 kills, 438 hitting for Miriam Watara, the CUNY Player of the Year. Free ball coming for Hunter. McIntyre. Fung tried to tool off hands. Mulich able to cover the block to keep a long point going. And then Lohano again the ceiling monster coming into play, knocking that ball down. In Division III, these can be some small gyms that you play in. And unfortunately there for Simone McIntyre, she was expecting a set, and it died on its path there.
Again, that ceiling divider being the issue. Good, tough serve right there.
Gdansky, here comes Rafat. Net violation on Hunter.
It would have been a kill either way.
Ashley Fung. And Lojano, ball up by Winkleman. Sharp swing there by Rafat, up by McIntyre, and then Lojano buries it.
Great dig. Incredible dig, very solid placement, and then that set selection to Lojano.
Winkleman. Free ball, Hunter to try to take the lead. Tomanang, Ouattara. And Gdansky hitting the second contact. And then McIntyre, a freshman, off the bench, all out of sorts. Brooklyn now with set point.
This is where in set one, Brooklyn wasn't able to close it out. Are they able to focus here, get the block where they need, all they need to do is focus on Ouattara and then go outside.
Rafat targeting Wong, perfect. Ouattara, a joust to the net. Net violation, Brooklyn, and will have extra points for the second time tonight. Hunter will get Aaron Dugan to the service line.
This is where you need that set to be high enough from Gdansk so that Brooklyn can keep their momentum.
Rafat, perfect to Gdansky. Tried to tip, Ouattara slams it down. It is championship point for the Hunter Hawks. And Dugan delivers an ace, and Hunter is back atop CUNY. They sweep Brooklyn 26-24 in the third.
24 and Whitney 2022 CUNYAC Women's Volleyball Championship, 3 sets to none. Fans, don't forget, everyone, please remain in the stands during our post-game award ceremony.
Hunter celebrates the programs and CUNY leading 27th Women's Volleyball Championship. They win 2 sets and they get their revenge after falling in 5 sets last year to Brooklyn. 2 sets that went extra points. This was the clincher.
And right here, again, they focused on serving Rafat. That was part of their game plan. They went after on serve receive. They placed the ball, good pacing, nothing too hard. They made her play the ball, and that's how they won this match.
Hunter celebrates. They're going to the NCAA tournament again. Tonight they hit 228. The CUNY Player of the Year, Miriam Ouattara, 11 kills, hit 474, was among their stars, and a very balanced and a deep team that got a lot of different contributors, and they just continue to come at Hunter in waves tonight.
And Water established again that she's the most dominant force in CUNY as a blocker. And they did have her towards the first bit of that final set, and then when they brought her back in, it was lights out.
So Hunter now improves to 19-10 and they'll go to the NCAA tournament. And with their 19 players, boy, we have seen how Hunter was able to reload. Again, as we mentioned, Pat, last year a little bit of a skeleton lineup for Hunter. Off of COVID, it's very, very difficult to recruit for all programs. And last year they still made it to the final because they're just that good and that deep. This year, full recruiting cycle. Hunter is able to draw the athletes from all over, a couple of transfers, and boy, what a deep squad it was that did get tested tonight, but they showed how balanced they are.
They are, and not just balanced, but aggressive. You have to think about a lot of these young ladies. They're transferring schools. They lost the season because of COVID, and they had to build that chemistry off the court. Then they found that chemistry on the court, and through tough competition throughout the year, they proved their mettle. Now, now they're champions. This is what Andrew Woodward wanted, right? He wanted that opportunity to move forward into the NCAAs to see all those tests that we had, the tests against NYU, the tests against Wilkes. Are they going to get us ready? And this is the mark right here.
We'll bring on Andrew Woodward here and Miriam Watara as the celebration continues. Hunter here on Lexington Avenue getting a lot of student athletes from various sports coming over. And Coach Willard can join us right here. And making a lot of noise tonight in the gym. Coach Woodward, congratulations. This one did not come perhaps as easy as maybe it looked at certain points. Extra points twice. Describe the difference-making aspects tonight for your team to pull out a sweep.
Well, you know, we did a lot of good things, right? We did a lot of good things, but we struggled a bit with serve receive, you know. And interestingly enough, you know, when you and I spoke earlier, I said to you, our strengths, serve aces, pass well, right? We're a smaller team. We have to serve well. We have to pass well. And we struggle a bit with serve receive, but obviously we had some good hitting from Miriam and Tiana and Bella. Defense was up and down, but I believe it was good when it needed to be.
You have 19 players on the roster, and we talked about how difficult it is to juggle. How did the depth and the work behind the scenes daily build itself up to this championship group? What did you see behind the scenes? That's unusual for most programs, and certainly in CUNY, to have that many players that you had to shape and mold together.
Right. So one of the good things about having you know, 19 on a roster is practices become very competitive. You know, we can run a good 6-on-6. We can move players around different positions. Tiana can go on the right side. She can go on the outside. Pass the same thing. Miriam can swing both in the middle and the right side. So practices are very intense, very competitive. Just a couple days ago, on Wednesday, we played mostly. We played 5 or 6 games, and they were all 23-25, 24, 26. Close games, and that's the one good thing about having depth.
Tell us about your future doctor and Miriam Watara. Right now her title is CUNY Player of the Year and CUNY Championship Match MVP. You hope you have another week left with her, or a couple weeks left. Describe what you've seen with her from recruiting her and now seeing who Miriam Watara became as a player in her 5th year.
Tremendous growth over the years. You know, if we go back to her first year, she came into a team that was ranked as high as 4th in this region. She played behind Marlena and Kendra and Izzy, and those were solid middles. So her time on the court was very, very minimal. But Miriam grew over the years. And earlier in the year, you know, she is in her 5th year. This is her COVID year she's playing. And I asked her, I said, Miriam, you know, why are you back? Why did you come back this year? And she said to me, you know, Coach, I wasn't finished. That's what she said. And she was not. She lost in the finals last year. She should have been Player of the Year last year. And here she is, Player of the Year, winning a championship for Hunter College. And beating a team that beat us last year.
Coach Woolward, congratulations. All the best to you moving forward in the NCAA tournament. Congrats on the sweep and your first championship as head coach.
Yeah, it's great. Absolutely great. And an amazing, amazing group of young women.
Thank you so much, Coach. We'll bring on Miriam. Andrew Woolward, second-year head coach. This year's CUNY Coach of the Year. He gets set to grab a medal. And now joining us here, Miriam Watara. Miriam,
yes.
Future doctor, congratulations.
Thank you.
CUNY Player of the Year, tournament MVP, future doctor. You said you weren't finished. You wanted to come back for a 5th year. You used your option. What drove you over the last year towards this night?
So, like, obviously, last year we lost to the champs, and I felt like my job wasn't done. My job wasn't done. You know, both team played great, but I felt like, you know, I have to end it off on a good note. And this year I was like, I might as well come back if I'm staying an extra year at Hunter. So I produced, I played, my teammates did amazing, our opponents did amazing, and at the end of the day, I love volleyball, so I don't want to stop.
Describe 19 players on the roster. Not too many returners with the championship experience. What did you do to help all these new players have to come together behind the scenes over the course of a 2.5-month stretch to make tonight possible?
Every day in practice, we just try to make the girls understand that, like, what is your purpose? Why do you play volleyball in the first place? And some of us is here because we love it, because it's fun to play. Some of us is here because this is an outlet for us. And at the end of the day, like, our girls are passionate about it. So if you're passionate about the sport, just might as well play and play to 100%, 100%, not 90%, not 99%, 100%. And that's what the girls did, and we showed out, we showed up.
You're a 5th-year senior, and you had to break in a freshman center in Bethany Tomanang, a freshman middle who is going to be dynamite in her career, new libero. Tell me about particularly the new players that had to step up into huge roles to help tonight be possible.
I mean, they did amazing since August to now. I think one thing for them, you know, they were new to the team, but we also try to, like, make them understand that, hey, even though you're new, we're still a family, you know, and we're going to try our best for us to gel together. And obviously, we saw that on the court today. But, you know, we just try to remind them that, hey, we're at the sports club for a reason, and this is our home, and we just got to play our game. And I'm proud of Nadia, I'm proud of Lily, I'm proud of all our freshmen, I'm proud of all our returners. And at the end of the day, we showed up, so yeah.
You've won a championship before, but how is this different or better doing it in 2022 compared to now years ago when you won it pre-pandemic back in 2019?
I would say my freshman and my sophomore year, I had amazing leaders that I looked up to, and their passion and their drive for the game as well allowed me to understand and learn from them. And once I was put in that leadership position, I knew I had to show up and show out for my girls, you know? They look up to me, I look up to them. So whatever I learned in 2018, 2019 when I was a freshman and I was a sophomore, I'm like, I might as well show out and be there for my girls as well.
Miriam, congratulations, a 3-time champion.
Thank you
Future
so
Dr.
much.
Miriam Watara here joining us at the table, and the
thank
tournament MVP and this year's Player of the Year. Congratulations, we'll see you down the road.
I'll see you down the road. Thank you so much.
Miriam Watara here finishing up with 11 kills. She hit 474. Big swings just to stabilize things in the 3rd set, as we'll bring back Patrick Dietz as we continue on with this championship presentation. Miriam now runs over, and we'll have the photo op. And what will you remember about Miriam Watara? Again, this is her 3rd championship, 1-year starter at the right side, 2 years in the middle, comes back for a 5th year. Put her career into words.
Into words. Most improved person on the court. From when she first got to Hunter and she was kind of a middle hybrid, right side hitter, she didn't really have her identity, but she was a force at the net. She helped lock down the right side. She was a good blocker. She was a well-utilized player. She didn't serve a lot back then. She comes back, they move her around. She's right side middle, right side middle, right side middle, but she's more of a force. This year she was the unquestioned leader. During our pregame, talking to the coaches, she's over there leading warm-ups and she's telling everyone, she's directing, she's guiding. She has been the heart and soul of this team this year. I will say this, from what I saw when she got on the court, the confidence of the team went up. The acute way of knowing what we had to do, the attention to detail got better because she was on the court. So that's who Miriam Ouattara is to me for this Hunter team. She has been the linchpin, the rock for this team.
She'll eventually go to medical school after she finishes her master's in public health at Hunter College. And Miriam Ouattara will be one of the all-time greats at Hunter among the many. As the players continue to get their medals, and we'll hold it here before we say goodbye. And for Hunter, great credit goes to Andrew Woolward, as we just spoke to him about how he prepared his team for these situations, putting together a very hard schedule, playing a lot of road games in loud gyms. Told us the story about they played at Muhlenberg. There was a packed crowd there with in a loud small gym, 200 people. Last night, the CUNY semifinal, 300 people. And his team could have cracked in the first or third sets when it was tight. And tonight could have ended up going and making a U-turn in a different direction for Brooklyn, but it did not.
And it didn't. And again, they know that they had the offensive firepower, but it wasn't a team that was fully tested. You know, you've got a young setter, you've got a couple of young outsiders, you've got a few transfers. The one linchpin was Miriam, but they needed to find their identity. I know I saw one of their matches earlier this year against NYU, and NYU dismantled them. This is a nationally ranked Division III program. Muhlenberg, a nationally ranked Division III program. So yeah, this is what he was testing them for. He's getting them ready for their playoff run. Now that they're in the NCAAs, you're going to expect to see a Muhlenberg. You're going to expect to see an NYU. You're going to expect to see a Calvin. Are you ready for that kind of competition?
Hunter has never won a match in the NCAA tournament, but I told you earlier they lost in 5 sets in 2018, 4-setter in 2019. They've had chances to do some real damage. Close 3 sets in the sweep in 2017 at number 15 Stevenson. And we'll see if this particular Hunter team can be the first CUNY team to ever win a match in the NCAA first round. Miriam Ouattara, fitting and apropos, is the last player introduced. And now the coaches, before we say goodnight. To finish off for Brooklyn, if Ashley Fung, who is graduating, she's a redshirt junior, does have a year of eligibility, fine player that just walked out the door for Brooklyn College.
I've watched Ashley grow up, quite literally. I watched her play in high school, I watched her play in club. She's one of those young ladies who fell in love with the sport, and you could see how her confidence grew throughout the years. She became the heart of this team behind Esri, right? Esri Shore, the person who helped them win their first championship. But what kind of person is she? She's the new foundation of the new Brooklyn women's volleyball program. As someone who's watched her grow up, beyond proud.
Ashley Fung, we bid her well if she doesn't come back. 2-time All-Conference in the 2019 CUNY Rookie of the Year, potentially having her career finished. Brooklyn finishes 17-13. They may find themselves in the ECAC tournament, which is the Division III NIT, and perhaps they get to play another match or two and pursue a local postseason tournament. But these Hunter College Hawks will be going to the NCAAs, and they'll hear their name called coming up on Monday on the NCAA.com video stream presentation. So they're about to make the announcement for Miriam Ouattara as the most valuable player and have the final photo op. And no question about it for Watara, who goes for 11 kills. Hunter for the match hit 228. They held Brooklyn to 0-34. Brooklyn actually out-aced Hunter tonight 9-8. And the errors were 4-4. Brooklyn got 10 kills from Aliyah Rafat on 250. Tessa Winkleman held to 7 kills on 056. And Ashley Fung 6 kills. And an even triple zeros, the big 3 pin hitters for Brooklyn that were never able to get into a routine. And certainly great credit has to go to Hunter serving over the course of the evening that made their jobs tougher. So the final photo op for the Hunter Hawks, who go to the NCAA tournament at 19-10 overall. And they stay perfect against all CUNY competition.
And now, ladies and
9-0.
gentlemen, it's a great pleasure to introduce our most valuable player. Fans, say it with me. Say what? Say
They'll
what?
announce Miriam Watara and
Say
let her
what?
know she is player,
Your most valuable
most outstanding
for
player.
City, number 16, senior Miriam Watara.
And she gets the gold in volleyball. Congratulations to Miriam Watara. And congrats to the Hunter College Hawks. That'll do it tonight from the Arc on the campus of Brooklyn College on Lexington Avenue. From producer and director Ben Talbot, for my partner Patrick Dietz, my name is Ralph Bednorchik saying so long and good night. You've been watching the CUNY Women's Volleyball Championship match. Here was championship points for Hunter. It's an ace by Erin Dugan, sending Hunter to their 27th CUNY title. Good night on Facebook Live.